right, so what's up, YouTube? So my wife and I are on another out and back for the day. We're headed up to Augusta, Georgia. We've got some business that we've got to take care of up there. Some long overdue business, if you ask me. But anyway, over probably the last 6-7 months, even before we purchased our Lyric V, I had initially wanted to purchase a Tesla Model S or a Tesla Model X. My wife, on the other hand, was not too much of a fan of either one of those. So we came up with a compromise and we bought the Lyric V. So the question that we have today is, what do you think? Should we trade in our Mercedes EQS 450 Plus for either the Tesla Model S or a Tesla Model X? So I'll start out by saying why I really am a proponent of trading in the Mercedes. But first, let me start by saying the Mercedes is a magnificent car, and these are just thoughts that are going through my head. And even though they're thoughts, I may not act on it. I may find another route. But in either case, the thing that I look at as far as should we trade in the 450 for a Model S or a Model X is I look at the technology from the aspect of the Model S or the Model X. I know there's a lot of people who have a lot of political stuff that they feel about Elon Musk and Tesla and all that kind of stuff. But with that being said, as far as I know and as far as I understand it to date, the Model S and the Model X, the Teslas period, are the only cars in the Western Hemisphere that you and I, or that the average person can buy, that does what Teslas do. I am a huge fan of technology. Anything that makes my job easier or anything that makes my life easier, I'm all about doing. And I love the fact that the Teslas have the full supervised self-driving. And whatever we want to believe, I truly believe that whether it's a month from now or 6 months from now, I do believe that Tesla is going to figure out the unsupervised self-driving. Now, that's not saying that I'm going to jump that far off the cliff, but the full self-driving or the full supervised self-driving, I think is a good thing to have. It makes your drives a lot easier because it takes a lot of mental thought process and fatigue out of driving. You just pretty much set it and let it go. So that's my main reason why I am really looking at moving toward the Model S or the Model X. And so what are your thoughts, love?
I would say you have some good explanation and points about what you would like to see, or what you think you believe Tesla is doing right now. They do have the corner on FSD, although I don't know if you thought about all the negatives with trading in this particular car. Even though it does have its faults with not FSD and you having to touch the wheel every 30 seconds and you have to prompt it to lane change and all that, it is a good road tripper. It does between 385 to 405 miles one trip on a charge, almost 80%. So I still am wondering if you thought about, when we went in to trade it the last time when we talked about trading it, the guy said that our Mercedes-Benz was only worth $30K, even though we paid $50K for it. He wanted to only give us $30K for it. So there's a $30K deficit that you're already working with, depending on what type of Tesla you want to get, what year,
Yeah, so you're correct about that. And that's all. You're always going to get a lower price from a dealer when you're trying to trade something in, because they're just trying to make all kind of crazy money. But I'm not in a hurry. We're not in a hurry to make a move like that. So just straight out selling it for ourselves, just selling it would be a different option, would be another option that we could get another $10,000 to $15,000 in our pockets, that if we sold it privately versus trying to take it to a dealer and trading it in. And I didn't mention one of the other things that I really like about the Tesla, especially the Model S and the Model X, which is why I'm kind of thinking about those. As much as we road trip, to be able to have unlimited supercharging when we're road tripping, I think that's a game changer. And when Tesla came back out with that, that's when the wheels really started spinning for me. When they came out with the Lux package, where you get unlimited supercharging, you get 4 years of streaming, you get 4 years of wheel protection, and there's one more thing that I'm not exactly sure right off the top of my head, but there's 4 different things that are included in that Lux package that really made that a total game. Oh, and the full self-driving comes free.
Okay, so now you got like 4 points on me, because I only had 2. Mm-hmm. I was gonna say that when we got the Mercedes only came with 2 years.
2 years.
2 years free charging, and after that you pay for it yourself. Mm-hmm. Depending on how you get it, somebody offers you their stuff. I think you can get somebody to offer you complimentary. They gift it to you. I don't know how that works, but you probably can get somebody to do that. Maybe you can get 3 years out of it, but we only got 2. Or maybe it was only 1 by the
It was 2.
It was 2 when we got the car. Mm-hmm. Okay. So you got me on that. Check. And what was the other thing you said?
So you get the free supervised self-driving, which is an $8,000 kitty. So you get the full self-driving. You get free supercharging for the life of the vehicle. You get wheel and tire protection for 4 years, and you get unlimited streaming for 4 years.
Oh, you got me on the unlimited streaming, because I be trying to watch TV while you over there driving most of the time, if I'm not asleep, if I'm not trying to get my beauty sleep.
Right.
But but the price of the car, what year are you looking at? Are you looking at a year or 2? Is it 3 or 4 years down the road?
Please
no. If we make that move, if we were to make that move, it would probably be in the summer. As you know, at my current location where I work at, there's some questions about if my actual position will be back next year. Although I'm probably 95% sure that it will be. But that's beside the point, because we're both retired from the military. So with that being said, our military retirements and our income is more than enough to is more than enough for us to live on very, very comfortably. But there's a certain number that I don't want to go below, and purchasing another vehicle would take us just a slightly bit above that number, and I don't want to go below it. So my intention is either way, to either have this car or the Lyric paid off before I would do that, if I were to do that. And then the other
got this car delivered in November 2024. The soonest you would be able to do that would be 27.
No, I could pay it off by the end of the summer if we went back on our thing that we did before we purchased the
I
house.
wasn't talking about paying off. I was talking about, like you said, you wanted to trade it in as a possibility.
Oh yeah. But again, like I said, that's just, we're just kind of spitballing, right? So whether we trade it in, whether we pay it off, whether we sell it, or if we end up getting the Model X, do we trade in the Lyric and keep this one? Because the value of the Lyric is holding its value a whole lot better than this one did.
I like the fact that the Lyric is an SUV and it sits up a lot higher. I like the fact that it will lane change on its own, so what FSD is a little bit more closer to what we want our vehicle to do when we're road tripping it. I don't know if I would want to give up the Lyric so soon.
Okay.
Unless you're going to upgrade me to a Cadillac Escalade, or I will take that Porsche Taycan. I will take a Porsche.
Nah, if we get rid of the, well, I mean those vehicles are way too big, especially the Escalade. That Escalade is way too big.
But with the amount of stuff that he takes his golf clubs. He has
that's
bags.
Still way too big.
I have bags, several.
You would have problems driving that truck. You would have problems driving that truck. That Escalade, I mean, it's huge. It's twice as big as the Lyric.
Is it any bigger than the van that we have right now?
Same size.
Well, then I can't see that way.
I didn't say that you can't. I said you would have problems. You can do anything you put your mind to. But again, the issue with the Cadillac Lyric is the assisted driving is not there. It's basically the same thing as the Lyric for your assisted driving features. Where with the Model X, it is total full supervise. All you gotta do is watch the road. Now I'm sure there's some times that you may have to intervene, but 99.9% of the time, you can tell it where you want it to go and it's gonna take you there.
You're winning me over on your points. I still think that would be 2027 or late 2026 before we think about making a move like that, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely say, yeah, it would definitely be end of summer 2026, going into, maybe October time frame.
When the new versions for 2028 are about to come out, like October.
Yeah, and you make a valid point about that, because would it be 28s or 27s? Because the 26s are out now. The 26s just came out for the Escalades.
So it would be the 2027s.
But we wouldn't, yeah. So, but again, the Escalade is just it's such a monstrosity of a truck. It's bigger than the Titan. It's just as big as the van. Yeah, I don't know if we need anything else that big. I mean,
and
because
are you thinking about outright buying this car, or are you trying to lease it? I heard you pause.
That is a question. I never really thought about leases, but I'm going to be honest with you. In recent times, I have definitely thought a lot different about leasing vehicles versus full out purchasing. And I'll tell you why. Because as we're getting older, and we start to travel more, I'm looking to have, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm looking to have more reliance on, if something happens, like if something happens and you and Kim are traveling on the road.
And Kim is his sister, if you didn't already know that.
Right. And so you and my sister are traveling on the road. I don't want to have to worry about a vehicle that we now own being out of maintenance. And we already know that you really waste a lot of money by buying extended warranties and all that kind of stuff like that, right? And so I have kind of been on the fence a little bit about leases versus owning. So yes, I am a little on the fence there. So, but I mean, either way, and who's to say that if we lease it for 3 years and we really like it and we want to keep it, then we may just outright purchase it, after that, because that's always an option.
Okay, so you would think about, because I know we talked about it before, you would think about doing a lease to own option instead of just a lease, and at the end of 3 years turn your vehicle back in.
Yeah, I would really consider doing a lease with an option to own, or with a lease with an option to buy. Yeah.
And we've never done leases before, so this would be a first. Because we always buy our cars. We buy everything that we have.
Yeah, we've never done a lease before, so that would definitely be a thought process. And then with that keeps you in the newest vehicle every 3 years. So I would probably say that we would lease one vehicle every 3 years and then just keep, whether we decide to keep this one or the Lyric, you keep that and then, lease the other car every 3 years. And if you like the other car, then of course you have the opportunity to buy it or, whatever the case may be.
Is there an option to get a Mercedes SUV or a Genesis GV8 that sits up a little higher?
And the reason why I say that is because for me, well, let me rephrase that. Let me back that up.
You said the Porsche was out of the range.
Let me back that up. I don't care for any of those vehicles because they don't have the driver's assistance features that I'm looking for you to be able to.
No, but it doesn't.
All right, so we've kind of talked a little bit about how we felt about the 450 and the possibility of an S or an X. So let's talk about some of the things that we really love about this 450. And I'll let you start out with this one. So what are some of the things that you really love about the 450 which would make you want to keep it versus going to a Model S or a Model X?
I love the way the seats recline. I like that it's more comfortable on the ride for stabilizing. Even when you hit a dip, you don't even feel it in this car. I love how quiet it is. When you're passing someone, they turn around and say, my mirror just notified me that there's a car in my price bike. There sure is. And our neighbors always come up to us and say, we didn't hear you come up, even when they're walking in the neighborhood. I love that. I love the fact that it has the extended seats, extender on the seat that I wanted. We were looking for a Cadillac, but couldn't find one. Mercedes has like a little extension on the seat here. Can you see it?
No, they can't see it.
But on the top of the seat, you'll see where it has like a little.
There you go.
Like a little hump. That's where you can extend the seat out. So Cadillac just has an extension where the seat goes forward a little bit, but on the Mercedes it's tucked under, so you have to push the button in order to get it to come out. And I like how the headrest goes down. It goes up and down. So quiet comfort, nice ride. You can change it from touring to sport, and it will give you all the power it's got. Just like with the V in the Lyric, it's not giving all the horsepower, but this thing is meant for riding in comfort, not being a sports car.
Okay. And I 100% agree with all the things that you just said. But I'll tell you the one thing that you didn't say that
that it has full FSD.
No, because it doesn't have full FSD.
I know it doesn't. I was thinking
the thing that you didn't mention is how this car loves to be driven and driven fast. Because I remember the first day we bought this, and then the very next day we took a road trip to your mom's, and you were on the interstate, and I laid over to take a quick nap, and I happened to roll over and look over, and you were doing 95 going down the interstate. And I had to remind you that this vehicle is so quiet and the power is so effortless that you really have to pay attention. Like now, we're on these back roads and I'm doing 75 and it feels like we're doing 50. So let me lock in this let me lock in to this cruise control before I mess around and get a ticket. But yeah, I love the effortless power.
Doing the engine changes that you normally would hear, since this car doesn't have an engine, it's just floating.
Yeah, and out of all the things that I've researched and read about this car, this is truly a German vehicle that was made to run on the Autobahn. So the faster you drive it,
the better it does.
The better it rides. I also like that. I like the route planner. The route planner, other than just this one right here, I don't know why it brought us around today. Like I said, it may have known that there was issues on that other road over there, because it does tend to flood when it rains. But the route planner in this thing is very, very good. It tells you, so for example, if we said we were going from here to New Orleans and it breaks down your charging stops, it will tell you that, you know, you may get somewhere at 53%, but you're probably going to end up with somewhere around 56. So for example, we put in today that we were going to this location that we're going to handle our business that we got to handle today. Initially it said we were going to get there with 56%. It just jumped up to 57%, and that's going probably 4 miles out of the way. So if you pay attention to this car, you stop trying to outsmart it. The route planner in this vehicle, to me, is very, very good. I also like the charging curve. I don't like the fact that it only camps out at 200, but I like the fact that it has a flat charging curve. It doesn't drop off. That would be one of the things that if I picked up the Model S or I picked up the Model X, that it would be the exact opposite.
It's going to stop tapering.
It'll start tapering a lot faster. So for example, this car here, if we pull in at 20% or below, we're going to get 200 to 205 kilowatts until you get to about 35%. Once it gets to 35%, it's going to drop off to about 175 to 180. And it's going to ride 175 to 180 up till about 52, 53%. Then once it gets to 52 to 53%, it's going to run 150 kilowatts consistently all the way till it gets to about 75%. And then once you get to 75%, it's going to go to about 80. I mean, it's going to drop down to about 105 kilowatts, and it'll stay there until you get to about 80. And once it gets to 80, it's going to stay somewhere between 95 and 100 kilowatts. And then once you get to 85%, it's going to drop to about 77 kilowatts. Excuse me. And it'll stay there until you get to about 90. And then everybody knows that drives electric vehicles, once you get to 90%, it just drops
off for everybody.
Right, it just drops off. So it doesn't matter what car you drive. If you're trying to go to 100%, going from 80 to 100 is about the same amount of time that it takes you to go from 20 to 80, or actually double the amount of time that it takes you to go from 20 to 80. Because going to if we go and plug into a 350 kilowatt charging thing, even though this car can only hold 200 kilowatts. We're going to go from 20 to 80 in less than 25 minutes in this car, which for us and our lifestyle works. So I'm okay with that. I like that.
So right now we're at 75%. That's 254 miles in this car.
Yeah, and that's 254 miles in winter conditions.
In winter conditions.
So it is. It's 45 degrees outside.
Right.
It's right there. So we left at 40. It's 45 degrees outside right now, and when we left home with 80%, and so yeah, it's 45 degrees and it's raining.
Right, and it tells you that on the map in the Mercedes that what the temperature is outside.
So those are all things that we enjoy about this car. All right, so what tempts me, maybe not so much my wife, but what tempts me to purchase a Model S or a Model X? I would say that I've always been an early adopter. I've always been a fan of Tesla, even back when they first came out. But at the time when they first came out, we were in Oklahoma, and so where we were at, there was really no infrastructure. But now you fast forward 15 years down the road, and there's infrastructure everywhere. Basically, every 50 miles, you're going to find a charging station, whether it be Tesla Superchargers or one of the competitors.
EVgo, Electrify America.
EVgo, Electrify America, Red E, Racetrack, Circle K.
Yep,
you know,
Shell,
just to name a
Shell
few.
Charge.
So about every 50 miles. So I'll give you an example. Everywhere that we would go in the state of Georgia, there is a charging stop every 50 miles. So if you left Dublin, Georgia, where we live at, is exactly 52 miles from Dublin, Georgia to Meta Raidsville, which is where there's a charging station, and one of our favorite charging stations, I would think, because we usually hit that one on the way back from my wife's mother's house down in the Brunswick, St. Simon's area. There's another one once you leave once you leave Meta going towards Savannah. There's a couple of them there, but the one that we really like is the one at the Pooler exit. And then once you leave Pooler going to Brunswick, it's about 57 miles. And then there's another Tesla supercharger, but if you need something else, there's other bailout areas there. So but with that being said, the thing that really sways me toward Tesla is their technology. Their technology far exceeds anything that I've seen in the EV space, whether it's Lucid, whether it's Porsche with the Taycan or the Macan now, whether it's the Cadillac, whether it's the Chevy, whether it's Rivian, Hyundai. There's nothing out there on the road that does what Teslas do. And I've been a fan of that since day one. Now I will tell you, I did have some second and third thoughts and a lot of trepidations when Elon Musk dabbled into politics. But at the end of the day, when you have a product that does nothing that nobody else does, it really makes you think about the other parts of it. And then, just for me, it also made me think, okay, he's openly saying some of these things that made a lot of people mad. But I'm sure there's a whole bunch of other people that are just as bad or worse than he is, that we're spending money on every day that that people don't take into account. But yeah, the Tesla Model S and the Model X, I've really been a fan of, and the Model X, I am very impressed with the amount of space that the Model X has
compared to this cabin.
Compared to it's got a lot more cabin space. It's got more cabin space because the Model X is the equivalent of a 3-row SUV. So the Model X would be kind of the size of the Expedition that we used to have, maybe a little bit smaller, but it's on that base.
But isn't the Expedition the same size as the Escalade?
No, the Expedition is smaller than the Escalade. The Escalade and the Suburban are neck and neck in sizes.
Gotcha.
And the Expedition, unless you got the Expedition XL, not XL, what was the long one that they had? Extended version, the ESV Expedition or whatever they call it, then it might be a little bit longer. But I tell you, with that Expedition that we used to have, I did not like that 3rd row seat back there.
It was a Ford. It was a Ford.
Yeah, I get it. But I mean, but back in the day, that was what it was, right? But I didn't like it because it was so cramped. You know what I mean? So it worked for for the kids when they were back there, when the kids were younger at the age they were, but as they grew, it didn't work.
Right. You might as well chuck it to take the 3rd row out.
Yeah.
And just leave it in your garage and put whatever you wanted in your back seat.
Yeah.
So you didn't take up cargo space.
Yeah. But when you look at, again, the FSD, the technology, the always consistent charging at Tesla superchargers, which is why we use Tesla superchargers more times than not now, right? I mean, for the Teslas, you just pull up, plug in, 6 seconds later you're charging.
Or whatever that handshake time is.
Yeah, I mean, from everything that I read and everything that you hear, from some of these other content people who primarily do Teslas and that's all they do, everybody, that seems to be the common thing, that it's a 6-second handshake.
The seconds matter when we're just leisurely traveling.
Yeah, now when we're just leisurely traveling, yeah, I will give you that little 6 seconds, or whether it's a minute, really doesn't take a whole lot, right? That doesn't really mean, but still knowing the consistency of what you're gonna get with that, as soon as you plug it in, before you can really walk off, it's going to be charging. I also like the fact that Tesla they're still, no matter what you say, Tesla is by far and away so far ahead of all of the other infrastructures like Electrify America, BP Pulse, Mercedes-Benz charging. They're so far ahead of some of these other people that it's probably going to take them another 7 to 10 years, and this is just my guess. This is nothing that I've read. This is nothing that anybody's told me. So this is my opinion. That's about how long it will take for them to catch up with Tesla and the technology that they have for their charging stations and all that, which is why I believe that Teslas can charge so much less for their superchargers.
You mean the time it takes to charge them?
No, I mean how much you pay when you go to Tesla pay for a supercharger versus how much you pay if you go to Electrify America. I mean, I've seen times when we went to Electrify America and it was 62 cents. And I'm like, this is ridiculous when I can go right down the road and find a Tesla and it's 36 cents. And then even if you do the monthly thing with Electrify America, which we started doing, you're still talking mid 40s cent, whereas Tesla, the highest I've ever seen that we go to do a Tesla's been what, 36 cents?
Right, from that. Was that the last charge that we did? Was what?
Yeah, I think that was the last one because we did it in the middle. We did it in the middle of a day on a Saturday, and it was like 36 cents. So you can't beat that.
Right now.
Yes, right now. And like I tell our kids all the time, you can only make the best decision with the information you have at the given time. You can't say, well, in 5 years from now it's going to be this, and in 7 years from now it's going to be it, because number one, you don't know, and number two, you may not live that long. Because as we know, the good book always tells you, not the day nor the hour.
Right.
So, but okay, so I've talked about a little bit, but what makes me lean toward Tesla. Do you have any thought? Because I know you're not really into it like I am.
I'm not.
Okay.
But I do like the fact that it has full FSD, and if we're able to carry your golf bag, my bags that I have to do for my organizational functions and your organizational functions, I wouldn't mind. I didn't like being in my brother-in-law's because I felt like my legs are long, so when I was sitting up in the front, I felt like on the passenger side, your feet felt like they were more upward, like in a 45-degree angle instead of flat on the floor. Like in this car, it has a lot of open space down at the bottom, so you can twiddle your feet, do whatever you want with your foot. You can put your foot up a little bit, and you probably individually, I could almost lift my foot up almost straight, my leg almost straight. But in the Tesla, when I was in his Plaid, it felt like there was something underneath the floorboard that made them cut the board at an angle. So my ankles were uncomfortable sitting in the car, even though I had the seat all the way back. That I did not like. I like the fact that it has a front trunk.
I didn't even talk about that.
I wish the Mercedes had a front trunk.
I didn't even talk about the front trunk
up there.
Yeah, that front trunk is a game changer.
That would be a game changer. We would be able to put so much into the car. Torrance would probably be able to put his golf bags up front, and we put the luggage in the back.
I don't think it's that big, but our bags would definitely, our carry-on bags that we use when we go on our trips, those would definitely go up there. I don't believe that it's quite big enough to put the golf bags up there. But yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even bring up the front trunks.
Right.
I don't even know how I left that out, because that's
that was one of the things we noticed when we bought the Mercedes. It was like, oh, it doesn't have a front trunk.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when we were looking at the Lyric initially against the Mercedes, we noticed that the back trunk wouldn't open. You couldn't put as much luggage in there because it curved. It had a weird curve on the edges.
Mm-hmm.
It was either the Lyric or the Lucid. Was it the Lucid?
It was the Lucid. The Lucid has more of a clamshell.
I didn't like that at all.
But yeah, but as far as the Tesla Model S or Model X, and we didn't even get into the Model X. I was just talking to Model S. The Model X has so much space in it, especially if you do the 5-seater. It's got so much space in it, and even if you do the 7-seater, we wouldn't necessarily need the 7th seat, so we just leave that back row laid down all the time, and you still have as much room as you would have if you just took if you got the 5-seater. So, but yeah, the Teslas I've always been a fan of, and even if, for whatever reason we looked at wanting to keep this and keeping the Lyric, even if we did like a Model S or a Model Y, a Model 3 or a Model Y for a daily driver, that might be an option as well, but that would be another video. But you know, for the purpose of this video, the S and the X is really where I think I'm leaning and where I would like to look at moving forward.
The only thing I would say you didn't mention is that we went to see our grandbabies, and we were going to bring 2 of them back. Now, had we had the option, we probably would end up with 4 of them to bring back, maybe 5. And we would have been able to bring all of them back with the cars that we have right now.
Well, and in that case, if you were going to look at it from that standpoint, no, we wouldn't. Well, you would have to go with the Model X if you were looking at trying to bring 5 grandkids back. But I wouldn't be trying to do that anyway, because you can't handle that by yourself while I'm at work all day.
I cannot. But you don't have the option. They're not big enough to ride in the front either.
We wouldn't even do that. We take the van. If we were gonna, if we.
And the van's been lasting. We've had the van since how long?
2015. So the van's still good. It just had a transmission put in it. So that the transmission is the heart of the vehicle anyway. So if we were gonna, try to move that many people, you would definitely take the van. But yeah, that's not something that we necessarily got to worry about. But okay. So yep. So that covers, why I am leaning toward the Model S or the Model X, and hopefully, my wife said a little something. And again, she brought up the fact about the front trunk that really added to the conversation, because I had totally skipped over the front trunk.
Yeah, I thought about in the cars that we buy, I always think about what are the amenities, like what can we get, and how much stuff are we carrying, because we're always carrying a lot of stuff. Well, he doesn't carry that much stuff, I do. But anyway, the fact that it has a front trunk and a back trunk, which means you can carry more stuff,
and
levels out the car.
And they both have a sub trunk too.
And they both have a sub trunk. That's true. I forgot about that.
And their sub trunks are bigger than the one we have in here. All right, so the next section that we're going to talk about is performance in driving. So the performance in driving, there's two very different approaches to the performance in driving. Now, you and I both already talked about how much we enjoy and how much we love driving the 450 plus with the power and everything that it has. How it can carry, speeds of what we would normally drive anyway on the interstate and handle it well. So that's one thing. Tesla has taken a whole different another approach when it comes to performance. So Teslas tend to be a lot more faster and a lot more agile than the Mercedes 450 does. It's quicker as far as 0 to 60 speeds. So if you get just the regular Tesla Model S, right? At first, we'll talk about the Model S first. If you just get just the regular rear-wheel drive Model S, your Model S is still going to get about it's still going to do 0 to 60 in about 3.4 seconds. This car does 0 to 60 in about 3.5, anywhere between 3.5 to 3.7. Okay. If you have the Model S and you get the Plaid version, the Plaid version goes 0 to 60 in 1.99 seconds. If you get the Model X version, the Model X goes 0 to 60 in 2.99 seconds.
How does the Lyric stack up in between those?
So the Lyric on a general and tour mode, your 0 to 60 is going to be mid to high 4s, maybe 5.
Yeah, it's pretty fast. You put in V mode.
But when you put it in V mode, you can get the Lyric down to a 3 second 0 to 60.
And you're getting all the power.
Yeah.
V mode.
Yeah, that's when you have everything set up, the right way. You get at a good battery charge, state of charge, and you learn how to launch it correctly. You can get it anywhere from 3 to 3.3. So the reading says 3.3. I've been able to get it to 3.1.
I'm not paying attention to what it does when I launch it. I just know the people's heads go back into this. Back into the seat.
So when you start about going through curves and twisties, the Mercedes is meant for you to be comfortable. Now you have a sport suspension in here for when you want to do curves and twisties and stuff like that, and it will do curves and twisties, but it's not going to do it like that Model S. Model S, when you put it in the correct drive mode and you're doing it, I mean, it takes those curves and those twisties and it rocks with it.
Like the Jaguar used to do, there was a mode you could put it in and it would basically
grab the wheel,
it would the wheels would gravitate to the road or like hug the road, and when you did a curve, it felt like you were winding with the road. Like the car wouldn't lift up; it would like sit down just a little bit.
Yep. And so the difference between this car and the Model S, we'll talk about that first. When you put this car in sport mode to do something like that, when you want to have a little bit of fun, it doesn't sit down. When you put the Model S in track mode or cheetah mode or whatever the new version of it calls it, it calls it cheetah. It used to call it cheetah mode. What they call it now, I'm not sure. But you know how when the cheetah gets ready to pounce, it squats down. That's what the Tesla Model S does when you put it in there. It squats down and it gets down on it. So yeah, it's a deal. When you're talking about the driving and performance, it rolls, it rides. I've driven Tories, and when I've driven his, I can tell the difference in how it rides in the acceleration.
Now, Tori, if you don't know, is
my brother. It's my youngest brother, my baby brother. And as a matter of fact, if you keep watching, we're going to have some content because we're going to take our lyric to him. All right, so as I was saying, here in a couple of weeks, we're going to be taking our Cadillac Lyric up to my youngest brother, who has the ludicrous version of the Model S, and I think his is either a 22. I think his is a 22 version of the Model S with the ludicrous performance. So we're going to drop off our Lyric for him, and then we're going to do some content with his car, doing some road tripping, doing some direct comparisons between the Mercedes EQS 450 Plus sedan and the Model S. His is a 22, ours is a 23. And then my brother and I are also going to do a head-to-head race. And when I say race, we don't mean like racing 100 miles an hour down the road. We're going to take a trip, and we are more than likely going to go somewhere warm. So we're probably going to start in Kennesaw and drive down to Daytona Beach.
So that would be Kennesaw, Georgia, and drive down to Daytona Beach, Florida.
Yeah, drive down to Daytona Beach, Florida, and then that way we can compare not only range but charging efficiency, all of those different things. Because I do know that I do believe that as far as efficiency, this car is more efficient than the Tesla. So we'll check that out.
So who we're racing against for the Tesla?
Tori.
Oh, thought that was Mr. Herbert with the Lucid.
No, I know we'll beat the Lucid. We'll definitely beat the Lucid. That ain't even, and that's not even a car that I'm, really remotely interested in. Now that Gravity is something different, but it looks more like a station wagon to me than anything else. So, but anyway, again, that's another video.
It's fine.
That's another video.
It's fine.
So
totally fine.
All right, so we have a couple of more sections to discuss on this video. So next thing we're going to talk about is the technology and software. We've already talked a little bit about that earlier, but I do believe that from the technology and software standpoint, Tesla is hands down ahead of the Mercedes. What do you think?
It is hands down ahead of the Mercedes on FSD, full self-driving. So, where you don't have to.
Yeah,
Can you say that again, please?
I think the only thing that Mercedes has on the Tesla is the integration of Apple Play and Android Auto.
Doesn't Tesla have that?
Not unless they've done an update recently. The last time I know, or from my last knowledge, they don't. You use the your cord and you plug into your thing down to your USB, and you use your Android Auto and stuff like that from there. So you know how we can go on here and we can use Waze and all that stuff from here. I do not believe Tesla can do that. I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, please let us know down in the comments. But I don't think so.
Okay.
So that would be a knock. But other than that, as far as the technology that the Tesla has, I think it's far superior to the Mercedes.
Okay.
All right, so our next to the last topic that we have is price and depreciation. So this car, brand new in 2022, was $115,000. We bought it
2024.
We bought it 2 years removed, and it was over half of that when we walked out the door with it.
You mean it was less than half than that, or
No, it was. Yeah, we bought it for less than half, over less than half of that. When we walked out the door with it. Now the Teslas, I'm not 100% sure, because they have a hard drop off as well. But I do not believe, from what I've read, that it's quite as bad as this was, or this is. You listen to people like Kyle from Out of Spec, and you listen to some of the other folks that own these cars, or who are content creators that do a lot of stuff, who are Tesla owners. I don't get the impression that they have a hard depreciation like this vehicle does. And it's probably because they've been around for a while, and Mercedes and BMW and a lot of those people like that are fairly new to the electric vehicle game. So what do you think about the depreciation as far as that?
Well, I didn't know anything about the depreciation in any other car, but aren't Teslas holding their own as far as appreciation? Like, they're pretty much worth the same, or they depreciating
No, they
at just a fast pace as the Mercedes is?
Yeah, they depreciate. However, I did read an article the other day that if you get the plaid versions of whichever one, whether it's the Model 3, Model Y, the Model X, or the Model S, they tend to hold their value stronger than the other ones do.
Which ones again?
The plaid versions. So if you get the plaid version of the S or the X, or if you get the performance version of the 3 or the Y, they tend to hold their value better than the other, like long range or short range or standard range vehicles of those type.
So why isn't long range included in there?
I would probably guess, I'm not know, but I would probably guess they probably don't hold the value because of the power that you don't get in the long range or in the rear wheel, because you get more horsepower and all that stuff with the all wheel, and of course you get more horsepower with the plaid versions. And I'm sure there's some more intricacies, you know, between the rear wheel and the all wheel and all those things. So that would be a concern no matter what vehicle we have. I mean, but that's just what it is, right? I mean, you know, up until now that I'm even remotely thinking about, you know, moving on and either trading in the Lyric or selling the Lyric or selling your. We've never done that. We buy a vehicle and we drive it for 10 years. You know, we don't really look to. So if you're gonna drive it for 10 years, you don't care what the resale value is, because it's gonna be yours.
But if you're doing a lease to own, like you said, you would only have that for 3 years, and then you get another vehicle you're going to continue to lease.
Right. If you do a lease, then it doesn't the appreciation and depreciation doesn't matter, because when you turn the car in, unless you go over the mileage, whatever your contract says at the end of that time, you turn your car in and you're done with it.
But that means that you would be left with no car to drive. So I assume.
So you'd have to get another car.
Every person would have to release.
Yeah, they'll either get a new lease.
Their lease up again.
Yeah.
So that's probably why.
That would be a negative about leasing.
That would be a negative, because when we buy cars, we always purchase them to own them.
And so if we lease, like I said, like you just said,
the only time that would be a level or equal across the board is if you got into an accident.
What do you mean?
Then you're both out of a car.
No, because if you get into an accident, your insurance is going to take care of it anyway.
But for the most part, you're only going to have 14 days probably rental to get another car.
So in that case, it would still depend, because if you don't total the car.
Here we go.
I'm just saying, if you don't total the car, then you're going to take it back to, let's just say you do Tesla. You're going to take it back to the Tesla dealer. They're going to fix it back to Tesla standards, and then they're going to give it back to you. Just like, if you wrecked any other car and it's not totaled. If you totaled the car, your insurance is going to take care of the remainder of the lease, and then it's just like any other car that you totaled that you owe on. You start your payments all the way back over because you got to go buy another car. So that's kind of how that works.
I still think that would be a negative, but okay.
Yeah, if you're right. It would be a negative if you wreck your car. Yes, you're correct. It would be a negative. And then when you look at the price of the Model S, the current price of a Model S when you go in there and build it, if you go and buy the plaid, you can get the plaid, I believe it is for $99,000.
What?
Mm-hmm.
It's still a lot, isn't it?
Oh, I mean, every car that
was
you...
$100 or something, wasn't it?
You might be right.
Brothers?
No, his wasn't $100,000, because that was... Yeah, his wasn't $100,000.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, his wasn't $100,000.
Close to it.
Yeah, it was close to it, but it wasn't. I think his was like high 80s maybe. And then the Model X is, I've seen them at 99, and I think I've seen some at like 114 maybe. So I would think that the Model S's are probably in that same price range, from 99 to about 114. All right, but you just get so much with that, right? So you're getting the full self-driving, you're getting the internet stuff that we was talking about for your streaming and stuff. You get 4 years of maintenance on your tires if you want some drink. If you mess your tires and that kind of stuff up. And then the game changer for me that is really that really started to pique my interest again was the free supercharging for the life of your car. That you own it. So if you sell it to somebody else, that goes away. But as long as you own it, you can supercharge for free. So technically, if we wanted not to have any energy bill with this car, we could go and charge it up every day over there at the Wendy's and be done with it. But as we know, putting it on a supercharger so much is not the right thing to do.
Right, not all the time. It's like having caffeine all the time and never drinking any water. So every now and again, you gotta give it a slow it down, and which is why we charge it at home and we don't fast charge it all the time.
We only fast charge when we go on trips.
Correct.
I truly and honestly am not there. The full self-driving, the ease of charging, all those things are very, very good. But like you said, for us to do that, if we were to trade in the Mercedes, you're gonna take a pretty significant hit. But I mean, we can pay this car off by June and not have a car payment, instead of going to buy, another Tesla and then, having another car payment. I think when I was messing around on the Tesla website the other day, building the one that I wanted to build, the monthly note was going to be like $1,500, and I'm like, nah. I don't know that the full self-driving is worth that. And then I don't know that for us, the amount of time that we are going to be traveling, it would take us a long time to spend $100,000 worth of electricity when we road tripping. So I don't know that would be worth it right now. So what do you think?
Like you said, I kind of agree with that. Is that you don't know if it'll be worth it right now. However, you do see the progression of FSD and the Tesla updates as we check out the out of spec and out of spec day YouTube podcast. So I don't know if I want to keep this Mercedes until the end of her lifetime. We normally buy our cars and we keep them. We don't trade them. We keep them until we drive them until they can't drive no more. Which is why I got a Jaguar that's sitting in my driveway right now. It's got 300,000 miles on it almost, and it won't drive anymore almost. So,
now, I'm glad you brought that up, because that is a good point. Because we travel. Our lifestyle, we've been blessed to travel just about anywhere that we want to go. And we've got 300,000 miles on your Jaguar. We've got 216,000 miles on my Nissan Titan. We've got
how much on the Titan?
216.
Not bad.
We've got 216 on the Nissan Titan. We've got
It's a 2015, by the way, right?
we've got 2016. We've got 235,000 on the van.
And it's a 2015.
We've only had this car for a year, and we put 30. See, we've got how many miles we got on here now?
We got it in November 2024.
Right. So I'm looking at the mile. We've got. Hold on a second. I'll tell you exactly. So we've got 59,000 miles on this car. When we purchased the car,
we really road tripped it the first time.
When we purchased the car, it only had 23,000 miles.
Only 23,000.
So you're talking, not even 15 months.
And it was only a year old when we got it. So.
Yeah, so you're not even talking 15 months. Well, 2 years old, because we got it in 24, and it was a 2022. So it was 2 years old because it had just came back off a lease. And so, but regardless of whether it was 1 year old or 2 years old, it was 23,000 miles on it when we got it. We got 59,000 miles on it now. So that's what, 36,000 miles. So we put 36,000 miles on this car in not even a year and a half.
Not even, because we like to road trip.
So much to the point that we bought the Lyric.
But I think we bought that because we had a little bit better FSD on the
that too.
Driving.
Yes, that was one of the things. But the other piece of it was that we were putting so many miles on this car.
On the Mercedes.
Yeah, that it needed a buddy. You know, it
probably needs one more buddy.
It needed somebody to take the pressure off of it.
It probably needs one more buddy to take the pressure off.
And so we've had the Lyric now for 3 months.
Because it was supposed to be my daily driver.
We've had the Lyric now for 3 months, and we've already put 10,000 miles on
it. We just took it to San Antonio, just came back, so that makes sense.
Well, right after we got it, we went to Charleston. Then we drove it to Maryland.
We went to Charleston because my husband wanted to go to Charleston and golf.
No. We went to Charleston for a funeral.
Oh, my bad, we did.
Yes. And we drove the Mercedes to Pinehurst because we had just drove the Lyric to Texas. So yeah. So we put 10,000 miles on that one already, and it ain't even been 3 months yet. Not quite 3 months. So we move around a lot. So that, now that we done sidebarred and going back to it. Even with all that said, I don't know that the Model S or the Model X would be the right answer as far as where we want to go and the things that we're trying to accomplish financially. Even though that we could do it easily. But like our boy AO says, or your boy AO, because you watch him more than I do. I'm more of a Chris Sayan and Wall Street Trapper type of guy. But when you take that money and put it into a car payment versus continuing to put it in our stocks and stuff like that, it takes away from where you can be financially down the road. So it's just it's a balance. You have to play that balance, right? Because we've said a couple times in this video, tomorrow's not guaranteed, and you can't take it with you, right? So you might as well enjoy it while you got it. So we just have to find that balance. And maybe the answer is not a Model X or a Model S. Maybe the balance is the Model 3 performance or the Model Y performance. You're talking.
Would you consider a Model 3? And I know you don't want a Model Y. I would like the Model Y. So
no, okay. I don't think I would necessarily mind the Model Y because it sits up. I had a Model 3 when I went to San Antonio to go to that retirement ceremony that I had to go to in San Antonio. You might remember me telling you about that one. and it just sat so low to the ground. It rode fantastically. I mean, it was.
I'm sure it was hugging some curves.
It was nice. It was nice to ride in. It just sat so low. So I don't know if I would do the Model 3. I don't think you get the trunk space in the Model 3 compared to what you would get in the Model Y, because at least in the Model Y you're going to have comparable space to what we have in the Lyric now. So
is there more space in the Lyric, you said, right?
No, there's more space in here as far as trunk wise than there is in the Lyric.
I know about the trunk. I'm talking about interior space. You don't know? What?
Man, hey,
you have to ask Google.
Hey,
ask Google and see if Google knows.
Hey, you have to ask him on your phone because I got it up the top. I look, because you're talking apples and oranges. You're talking SUV and you're talking sedan. It's probably pretty close. If I had to bet, if I had to guess, you probably have a little bit more space in here than you do in the Lyric, because the Lyric is a compact SUV, where this is a large luxury sedan.
Hey Google, can you please tell me which car has the most interior space? The Mercedes 450 EQS Plus
sedan,
or
the Cadillac Lyric,
or it's like you got long questions. I gotta re-ask that. Okay, which one has the most interior space? Mercedes EQS sedan 450 Plus or the Cadillac Lyric V? Which one has the most interior space inside the car? Still searching?
I was searching because you don't get asked that question a lot, because they're two separate classes of cars. Okay, so we have confirmed, well, let me rephrase that. As far as Google is concerned, the Mercedes EQS has more room in it than the Lyric V, which is kind of what I thought. Which is why I kind of had to think about it for a hot second. But yeah, I agree with that. So again, but since this is the closing part about whether we should look to get a a Tesla Model S or a Model X, or keep the vehicle that we have, the jury is still out. But if I had to say right now, if you were to press me for an answer right now, I would probably say, for me, it's probably a 25% chance that I would move on doing the Model S or the Model X right now. What about you?
I see even less than 25. So, because I don't want a Tesla at all. However, I do see where you're going with the whole, if you needed a car to drive, so you wouldn't have to be concerned about me if you're at work or wherever I am, doing what activities I'm doing throughout the day, errands, etc. And since both cars that we bought are daily drivers, you would want to make sure that I'm something safer than what I already have.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, I wouldn't necessarily say safer, because this car right here, the Mercedes, is probably the safest car that we have.
Look up there, it gets
which was why for our first electric vehicle, I lean more toward this, especially after watching the I-90 surge. Again, shout out to all the folks from Out of Spec and all the people who assisted those folks when they did the I-90 surge, which was the race from Seattle to Boston, watching this vehicle perform. Because if you remember, we were actually looking at either the Mercedes EQS or the BMW i7. And
there was a BMW i7, the Genesis G90, which you didn't like at all. And so I moved down to the Genesis G80 because at the time they really didn't have any
the Genesis
that
for
many
me,
electric vehicles.
Yeah, the Genesis for me was never on the thing because it didn't have the only electric vehicle they had was the GV80. And then after watching the GV80,
they didn't have the GV80 at the time.
Yeah, they did. Because remember the GV80.
They just had the car, not the SUV.
Yes, the GV80. That's a GV80. The GV80 is the electric. The G80 is the well, let me rephrase. The G80 electrified. GV80 electrified.
Thank you. Say it right. Say it right.
Yeah, the GV80 electrified was the only electrified vehicle that even started to meet the criteria for what we needed.
Yeah.
So, but at any rate, 25% for me, and if you had to put a number on it, what would you say?
I'd say 20. I'm 5% less.
Okay.
That's not bad.
All right. So once again, if you were in our predicament and money was not an option, what would you do? Would you keep your Mercedes EQ 450 Plus? Or would you trade it or sell it to purchase the Model S or the Model X from Tesla? Put it down in the comments. Let us know. Also, if you made it this far, thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Please comment, like, and subscribe.
And share.
So we have plenty of road trips that we've got coming up. And it's just a matter of which one of our vehicles we're going to take. Are we going to take the Mercedes? Or are we going to take the Lyric? So I know for sure this summer we will be going to New York. It is a lifelong goal of mine to play a lot of different golf courses. So I'm looking to go to play
in all 50 states.
Bethpage Black in New York. And on the way back from Bethpage Black, we're going to stop in New Jersey and visit my auntie and my cousins, them up there in New Jersey. And then we'll head back. So that's one. We're probably going to go back to New Orleans at some point because we didn't get to do a whole lot in New Orleans when we went out for Thanksgiving this past year. I had some medical stuff that was going on, so we really didn't get to enjoy that trip, so we had to get back so I can seek some medical attention.
Just like we have to get back right now because he has to be at an appointment at what?
I got
3
another
o'clock.
appointment that I got to go to, so this was an out and back. So what are some of the places that you're looking to travel to this year on our road trips?
I still want to try to make it to, is it North Carolina or South Carolina that has the other side of Innisbrook?
That's Florida.
Right, she's in Florida, but she has.
Oh, you talking about her other hotels?
Golf, yeah.
Salamander. Yeah. I'm not sure. I have to look those up. I think it's South Carolina though.
She's in South Carolina. I think there might be one in Virginia somewhere. Either
I
West
think
Virginia
you're right.
or Virginia.
I think you're
so
right.
I would have wanted to go to those and compare. I think that the Salamander might be giving Innisbrook in Florida a run for its money because it's a little bit hidden, but same person owned it, but maybe sometimes staff is different at different locations. Sometimes the service may be better at one than the other. I would like to go to Canada. I don't know if we can take our car over there.
Drive to Canada.
We ain't driving to Canada.
No, we wouldn't. No.
Okay, so you mean the continental United States?
I mean somewhere that we're going to, like road trip, because your body can't take riding all like that. You've been in the car for 2-3 days, and then you won't be able to do anything for 2 or 3 days, and it'll be time to turn around and go back home. So, but as a matter of fact, while you're talking about that, it's always been a goal of mine to drive cross country. And I remember the last time when we were living in Oklahoma.
It
And
sucked.
we drove to Vegas. You did not like it, so I know that's not going to be something that you're going to be doing. So
it was not bad. It was just the part where we was about to go to Vegas, and once you come around Niagara Falls,
yeah,
you be literally, like they say, see nothing but desert.
yeah.
There's nothing to see. I would just say put something out there.
Oh well,
some
you
murals
haven't driven from Georgia to New Mexico yet. Then that's nothing to see.
No, we were going from Oklahoma to
right.
Your friend's house.
Yeah. So, but at any rate, we're looking at doing Christmas in Cali this year, and so me and my brother-in-law, we're going to actually drive while the rest of the family flies out. So we're going to do a coast to coast. So we're going to go to the beach. We're going to go put our feet in the water in Savannah, and we're going to drive from beach to beach, or from ocean to ocean, should I say.
Yeah, because that's the Atlantic. You're trying to drive to the Pacific.
Yep. So we're going to drive from Savannah to Anaheim, California, and then on over to wherever the ocean is, because I'm not exactly sure how far that is. But anyway, this video has been long enough. Again, thank you for watching. Thank you for staying with us, and we'll see you on the next video.